Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 8 of the Asia Pacific Grand Touring Challenge presented by Blackadder Motorsport. We're live today from Watkins Glen as we continue our run of classic North American racetracks. Last week, we had a thrilling race in the California Santa Laguna Seca, and we're bound to have another crack of a race today in New York. 15 cars are currently registered on the grid today, and Jeremiah Morton, this is a pretty fast track. How important do you think qualifying is going to be today?
I think qualifying is going to be as important as it always is. It's great to have you in the box and joining you tonight in commentary. But talking qualifying, I think it's very important. Getting into the front end of the field, coming in at the start of the race is very essential, especially with the tricky sections that this track throws at you. Definitely, traffic plays a part. If you're wanting to be competitive, you want to be at the front of the field from the get-go.
Yeah, you're right. The traffic factor at this track, I think, is actually going to be a fairly big talking point because there are quite long straights you can get through there, but if you catch them in the wrong place, passing it is quite tricky. Now, I've seen over the season some races where the draft has been a massive factor, and some others where it's not really been a talking point at all, but this is quite a high-speed circuit, like I said, so you're going to have to expect some pretty good drafting battles today, don't you think?
Yeah, no doubt, with the long straights and the breaks from corners, and the opportunity for people to lunge it up the inside on 90-degree turns and a few chicanes. So some great overtaking manoeuvres, and with the draft, that's going to help them try and get them done. So definitely, the long straights are going to play an important factor in tonight's race.
Right, well, it's round 8 of 12 in the championship, and things are really starting to heat up in the Asia Pacific Grand Touring Challenge. So let's run you through the championship standings so far. And in the top class, the Mustang class, Ben Callow is really starting to pull out a lead. He's on 418 points, and in second place is Gary Fishwick on 343. Third place, Mike Dial on 306. And fourth place, it's Ernie Ludwig on 244. Fifth place, it's Dan Carrick-Stantis, and it's Craig A. Williams, Nathan Eremenko, John Barry, Paul Rogers, and Mika Eschuis rounds out the top 10. In the Volkswagen Jetta championship, it's a bit more quiet, but Brian De Bruyn is leading that championship by a little under 60 points over John M. King. Colin Klopman on 120 points. So that one's always up for grabs because we haven't seen people rock up to every single race. But we'll see how that one plays out over the coming rounds.
And following through on the Pontiac field, we've got Dennis van der Schut in first place by 13 points, with Russell Clark and Brad Fenley pretty close. Russell Clark's, as I said, 13 points behind, but there's a big gap between Russell Clark and Brad Fenley of about 80 points separating them. So, bit of a gap there. We follow back to Craig M. Hopkins and back to Colin Klopman that rounds out your top 5. And a couple of other big names following behind of Robin Rosenvinch, Tony Pizarro, Ben Callow. Had a couple of rounds in the. Actually had in one round at Monza in the Pontiac, but he's still managing top 10, which is a very good job from him. Toshi Tanaka, Alan McCain, Brad Hay, and Alan Opilok round out that pointy end of the field. So it's a pretty good battle as we've seen throughout the season in the Pontiacs, and championship points go hand in hand with what we've seen on track.
The one thing we do need to take into account actually is Dennis van der Schut has a 13-point lead, but that is not taking into account drop rounds, and he of course missed last week, so he's actually in quite a good position.
Yes, that is very true. That's something that I hadn't thought about. And coming to the end of the season, obviously, with a couple of drop rounds, one of those last round at Laguna is going to be probably one of his drop rounds, considering he did not start the race. And that's going to be great for his championship standings. We'll run through the track guide at the moment now. we have the first corner is called the 90, and that's for a very good reason. It's because it's the first and one of only 3 90-degree turns on the circuit, but it's got a very characteristic off-camber right hand, which is slightly greater than 90. I did the maths, and it's about 95, 96 degrees. So it's just over 90 degrees. So it might catch a few drivers off guard if they're trying to take it as a 90 degree. But that's the first corner.
Such an engineer. Yeah, turn 1's pretty hard to get a good run out of, but if you can get a good run out of there, you shoot up into the S's. And the first right hand is very quick and very committed, because the mistake here is it's almost always a massive accident. You're surrounded by fences, and to get the car through the right-hander and then up the hill into the left-hander requires a great deal of precision, actually, to get the car in the right place, run a bit of curb on the left-hander, and then put the car right out to the fence on the exit, and then get a good run through the second right-hander, get all the way up to the grass to get a good shoot down the back straight.
And after you've gone through the back straight, you get to the bus stop. It's called the inner loop, and basically it slows the car down for a little chicane before you head back into another complex section of the track. Yeah,
and this right-hander is, in my opinion, the trickiest corner on the track, especially driving a car like a Mustang. It's got a bit of understeer in it. It's really actually very tricky to get in there and get the car turned and get the power down on the exit of the corner. Very tricky to nail that corner, and you can lose a lot of time and really wear your tyres if you get it wrong.
Yeah, no doubt. We come through to the next section of the track called the chute. Basically, it's a shortened version of the back straight, and it's a little front straight section where drivers get a bit more speed and lead into another left-hander, which is also just less than 90 degrees. So I guess that makes up for the turn 1.
Yeah, a lot of curb. You can use a lot of curb on the exit of that right-hander, which shoots you down, left-hander, apologies, which shoots you down into the final right-hander, which actually has a little bit of positive camber, which means you can really drive the car in there, get on the power early, and then drive right up on the exit curb to get a good shoot down the front straight. It's 3.94 kilometres in length. It's officially just 8 corners. And this place is a very fast track that has big consequences when you get it wrong. So the guys are going to have to be committed today. They're going to have to be focused. And they're going to have to race hard, especially the way the draft is looking like battling out. Well, let's run you through the entries for today. Got a big class of Mustangs, actually. 9 cars, which is good to see. 2 Volkswagens. And get this, just 5 Pontiacs.
Wow, not many Pontiacs at all. That's very surprising.
It's the usual corporate suit. Russell Clark, Dennis Vandershield, and Brad Fenley. So the 3 guys that rock up every week. Here to do it again. Actually, interesting in the Mustangs, Nathan Eremenko is back for the first time since, I believe, Daytona. So Ben Kello's had a bit of a run lately, but I'm looking forward to seeing Nathan take the challenge up to Ben.
Yeah, it's good to see Nathan back. It's been a while, and we'll just cut to the live action now. So we join the drivers. They're just doing their lone qualifying. It's been about 3 minutes and 15 seconds, so they'll be on their first laps well and truly.
And most of the Mustang drivers completed their first laps, and it's Eremenko who's 10th and a half quicker than Ben Gallo so far. We'll wait and see what the guys can do in the second lap. Tell you what, I would love to see open qualifying at this place. The drafting would be very entertaining. It's lone qualifying it is. And the guys have got to get their head down and do the best job they can in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that's one of the things with this series that a few of the drivers have been talking about, whether to change it to lone qualifying or keep it, change it to a open qualifying or leave it as a lone qualifying it's one of those things where you want to have a competitive field, and that means that sometimes, you know, people get a bit of draft in open qualifying, and that helps with their lap times. But you can look at it the other way, yeah, and say, well, we want it to be competitive, so we want all drivers to have equal amount of, you know, aero work as far as drag. So that's why they have the lone qualifying. Also means that you don't have to worry about other cars on track, but it's definitely a consideration which iRacing have been thinking about.
Yeah, we could open a can of worms here. I mean, there's two sides to the coin. There's one side that says we're a racing simulator and we need to be doing everything as realistically as possible. And then there's the other side that says, well, there are some things in real life that if the drivers could avoid, they would. And so that camp says that lone qualifying is good because you don't have to deal with traffic, which is a fair enough statement. I'm personally in the camp that's for combined qualifying. I would love to see it as realistic as possible, and if in the cases where the series has combined qualifying, which is the majority of the series, I'd love to see that replicated in iRacing. But anyway, Ben Keller has actually tipped Nathan Eremenko there at the end by less than a tenth of a second, so that's looking like being a good battle. John Barry actually in third place with a 22.3, just a tenth off Nathan. So that's looking like being a good battle up the front.
Yeah, it's looking pretty close at the front, which is surprising. In the previous rounds, it always has been a bit of a gap at the lead. So it's good to see that the drivers' times are competitive up the front a lot more tonight. Yeah, as you said, there's only 1/10, well, 2/10 separating the top three, with 1/10 in between. So definitely going to be a good battle tonight for Nathan, Ben Callow, and also John D. Barry, which is the guy we haven't seen much of this season.
Yeah, we had been talking to Brad Fenley a little bit lately, and he said he really wants to score a win in the back end of this championship, and he's got off to a good start. He's put the car on pole, so he's going to be happy with that. But Russell Clark has just said that, you know, pole is as good as fifth with the draft here. Dennis Vandershield said he stuffed up his lap, but he's going to be starting third for those guys. So at the end of the day, 5 cars, those guys are going to be drafting like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, definitely. Pontiacs, I heard from the series organiser, Oliver, when we went to the Nürburgring round, that the Pontiacs very much like drafting, and they gain a very big advantage from drafting. So look for drivers trying to keep in nice, tucked in behind the back wheel of other drivers before making a late, what do you call it, a dive bomb, but a good dive bomb at that. A good overtaking move, that's it. Coming into the final, well, the corners on the back straight and probably the front straight. The first corner is an interesting one. It catches you off guard how quickly it closes off, but there is lots of runoff area where if you do run a bit wide, you can get back on track without getting an off track or something like that, which is nice.
Yeah, turn one's quite tricky actually. It's downhill braking, and it's on paper it looks simple, but it's really quite a strange corner. You got to turn it in, use a lot of curb on the inside, and then actually, like you said, you can run the car way over the outside curb and onto the AstroTurf, and as long as you don't touch the grass, you don't get an off track. So yeah, that does produce good racing. It means you can touch wheels and run a little bit wide and race on. So hopefully we see a bit of that today as the cars begin to grid up then.
Right, as we've done in previous rounds, talk us through who do you reckon is going to be very competitive tonight?
Honestly, I'm seeing an opportunity for three-way battles, at least three-way battles, in the Mustang class and the Pontiac class, which makes picking the winner a nightmare. I'm going to tip John Barry in the Mustangs and Dennis van der Schilt in the Pontiacs. And Marco, actually, that's looking interesting in the Volkswagens as well. Brian de Bruin in the Volkswagen.
Good choices, good choices. So I'm thinking Nathan Naramenko can take it up to the Mustang class. I reckon he's my tip for the Mustangs. I reckon Dennis is going to have a good race. He might have a trouble getting through a little bit of the traffic, but there's only 3 of them, which is surprising in this round. But yeah, Dennis, I reckon, is my tip as well. And De Bruin has been confident behind the VW all season. I think he's going to take out the round win. But we shall see as the cars are just about to leave the formation and go on their warm-up lap behind the brilliant Cancer Foundation iRacing safety car.
Right, then let's run you through the starting grid for today's race. It's Ben Callow and Nathan Naramenko on the front row. Row 2, it's John Barry and Mark Dial. Row 3, Oliver Searles, George Johnson, and it's Gary Fishwick and Ernie Ludwig. Stephen Patmore rounds out the Mustang class.
I don't have the Pontiac standings, so you have to run through Pontiacs and V-dubs.
These Volkswagens, Marco Rabati, a name we haven't seen on the pole. Just the 2 cars. Brian de Bruin was starting alongside him. Pontiacs, it's Brad Fenley and Russell Clark on the front row. It's VP versus Milo. And it's Matt Danson, Dennis van der Schilt and Colin Gorton. 16 cars in total. Should be an exciting race.
Yes, hopefully they can keep it clean through the first run through the S's. I think that's going to be a very hairy moment in lap 1. I think we may see a bit of carnage, but you never know with Watkins Glen. Sometimes you have those clean races that are brilliant, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, the guys actually have to be pretty careful to get a bit of heat into their tyres in this lap, because you come down into turn 1, the car feels all good, and then you come to the S's for the first time, and you really have no idea what sort of car you got underneath you. So you turn into that right-hander for the first time, and quite often we see guys get a bit loose, and someone just checks up, and it'll be carnage if that happens, because it's just walls and there's nowhere to go pretty much. So hopefully everyone gets through there cleanly, but don't be surprised if we have a bit of action going through the S's.
It's going to be an exciting race. I'm looking forward to it as they come through one of the last sections of the 90-degree turns. Brilliant positive camber on this corner, as Jackson was saying earlier. You can carry a bit more corner speed than you would usually do if it was a flat section. But as the Cancer Foundation pace car just finds its way around the last corner, finds its way into pit lane, Ben Callow will have the pace, and Ben Callow gone now. Brilliant start from Ben Callow. He's got a good lead.
Yeah, Aaron Cornell was trouble in a very bad start for John Barry. He got all sorts of held up. Dial's going to try and get down the inside of Eremenko. They're 3 wide behind. Hopefully they can get through okay there. Eremenko's going to try and go side by side with Mark Dial into the S's. This could be messy. Going to be side by side through the right-hander. That's a very good job to keep it clean through there.
Looks like Mustang drivers have managed to keep it out of the wall so far.
Similar situation in the Pontiacs. Dennis van der Schilt up to 3rd quickly. And Brad Family actually just pulled a little bit of a gap over Russell Clark. So that's a nice start for those boys. But the action at the moment is up in the Mustangs. Ben Callow pulled a bit of a lead, so Eremenko's going to have to get the head down. And John Barry will be disappointed to have got that bad start. Not quite sure what's happened there. He's dropped way down to 6th position. He's on the back of George Johnson coming into turn 7.
Yeah, he seemed to have a very bad start on the outside, well, the inside of the corner, off the line. I don't know what was going on there, but very interesting start.
Actually looks like It almost looked like a standing start. Like the initial start was quite solid, but then it just seemed to bog down. So I wonder if he missed a gear or if something like that happened. Then it was a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
As they conclude lap 1, then Keller has a nice little gap over Eremenko. I was sitting in there quite nicely. Mark Searle was also in 4th place. You just get the feeling that George Johnson's holding up John Barry and the back behind actually, and John is starting to get a little bit impatient to try and move through because he really needs to get on with it if he wants to challenge for a podium today.
Yeah, he thought about it coming into the bus stop there. He thought better of it, pulled it back in. It's just tucked in behind George Johnson.
Go on.
I was just saying, love the paint from George Johnson. He's got slow Johnson on the side of the car, so that's an interesting paint from Mr. Slow Johnson. I think he's earned himself a new nickname.
As Barry gets down the inside and he gets the job done. Nice pass from the number 3 car, but he has his work cut out for him to catch up to the back of Oliver Searles now. And let's see if George Johnson gets under pressure from Gary Fishwick. Fishwick with a new paint on the go as well, I believe, actually. Meanwhile, the final Pontiac has vanished. That's Colin Gorton. He didn't actually take a green flag by the looks of things, so I'm sure what's happened there, but it's a 4-way battle at the front. Russell Clark has just taken the lead. So Russell is going to give Brad a good fight for it. And so is Matt Danson, actually, sitting in there nicely in 3rd position. So these guys just pretty calm early on. Much smaller field than we've normally seen from the Pontiac, but I reckon those guys are going to turn it on for us later on today.
Yeah, no doubt. And Dennis is just finding his feet. He's just tucking in behind Matt, and I think he's going to be coming or wanting to come through the field throughout these next 22 minutes.
Tell you what, Ben Callow does not hang around. Lap 2 of the race was officially 0.08 of a second slower than his qualifying lap. And we've seen that time and again. He just gets onto it straight away. As he comes across the line, we'll see what this lap time is. It's 22.3, so that's pretty quick as well. Eremenko behind him does a 22.7.
I noticed Eremenko did a 21.7 last lap.
Yeah, just cool.
Yeah, big gap. He closed in the second lap.
Mark Dale's doing a really good job just to sit in behind. So is Oliver, actually. So is doing a very good job just to slot in behind Dale. And Dale similarly slot in behind Eremenko as they try and all catch Ben Callow. John Barry, meanwhile, trying to cling on to the back of these boys. Gary Fishwick has got past George Johnson, as has Ludwig.
It's brilliant to see these very heavy Mustangs coming through the big loop. It's brilliant seeing the weight transfer as they go to different aspects of that, different parts and aspects of that corner. See the weight, comes back onto the rear end of the car, and then as they get back on the gas on the exit, it then shifts that back to the forward, and then they're trying to get lots of front straight stability.
It's also quite good to see the 2 Volkswagens line astern at the moment, so hopefully those 2 guys can keep at it, give us a bit more entertainment for the day. It's always nice to see. Even though the Volkswagen fields are small, it's always nice to see when they're closely matched.
Yeah, definitely. I think a good battle between the only drivers in your class is always good racing, because otherwise it can be a bit boring. But Marco is he's giving it up to Brian, and he's doing some pretty consistent laps as well. Only 9 1/1000ths of a second separating. Sorry, I got that wrong. That's
change for the lead
19.
at the front. Oh, and Eremenko's gone round. We've missed it.
Oh, Nathan Naramenko's gone around. Let's go to a quick replay.
Yeah, we'll grab a replay up here because there was contact between Callow and Naramenko through the bus stop, and it started with Callow running wide through the bus stop.
Oh, so Ben Callow's run wide. Nathan Naramenko's on the outside. And, looks like a bit of netcode contact on
I hate it.
I hate it. There. Oh, that's a bad contact due to netcode. That's a bad one. Unfortunate for Nathan.
Yeah, that's just ruined a good race, and by no one's fault. They'll probably both be blaming each other until they see the replay. I mean, Naramenko gave Ben enough room. Ben, as you do, comes off the curb and goes left a bit. But with a netcode contact, Naramenko got sided and then slid it into the fence. Unfortunately, we weren't watching that live on the camera, but I was keeping an eye on the battle and saw Ben go wide. But that's... Naramenko was coming at him pretty quickly, but that is what it is. Mike Dyle was actually clawed onto the back of Ben Callow here. This is... Mark's doing a very good job.
Yeah, brilliant first 12 minutes from Mark. As you see, the Pontiacs have already been lapped by the Mustangs. That's a pretty quick time of only about 12 minutes.
Yeah, and Dennis Vandershoot has dropped off the back of the Pontiacs. I'm just trying to work out the standings at the moment. The Pontiacs seem to be all over the place. So Russell Clark leads. Vandershoot is about 6 seconds back. And Fenley is miles back, and so is Matt Danson. So I think there's been an accident that we've missed.
Yeah.
You guys could, separate your action throughout the race and not have it all happen at once. That would be nice.
That would be lovely.
I'll have a little go back here and try and do some research as to what's happened for you.
Yeah, good idea. As Jackson does that, we just watch Matt Danson just gets a little wide on turn 1. No incident there though. And Brian DeVaughn and Marco Abet are both line astern, getting that nice slipstream down the back straight. And Brad Fenley's just been passed by a couple of Mustangs. Very good battle between Nathan Naramenko and Gary Fishwick for 5th and 6th, as Naramenko tries to find himself back into the podium spot. Down 4 positions at the moment due to that spin.
Right, so here's the deal. It was lap 3, so it was a little while ago. Coming around the second to last corner, and Russell Clark was out in front, as he is now. Brad Fenley ran a little wide, just touched the grass, had a bit of a tank slappy going on, and Matt Danson had the run, and just sort of tagged him, sent Fenley into the left-hand wall, Danson into the right-hand wall. Dennis Vandershoot sort of weaved his way through the middle and came out, but it's just lost a bit of time to Russell Clark. So in the space of 2 laps, our 2 exciting battles have turned to mush.
Wow, and as we just see, Ben Callow gets amazingly sideways. That was just insane. Gets absolutely crazily sideways coming through the bus stop. Mark Dyer has to take evasive action. Let's get a replay of that. That was brilliant work from Ben on the wheel.
That is some serious speedway action there. That is. Scaife, you would be going bunter.
Yeah, that was insane. And Mark Dyle just misses Ben Callow, so that was brilliant work from Mark to see that he was Oliver's not going to end up very well if he tried to stick around.
So Callo's got the head down. He's pushing like you wouldn't believe. Mark Dial's sticking onto the back of him. And don't discount Oliver Searles or John Barry here, because these two are clawing their way up to the back as well. So it's not the guys that we expected to be battling at the front, but they're certainly still in and amongst it. And as a matter of fact, Eremenko is actually not that far behind, so I don't think he's got any damage from his spin. So he's only actually 6 seconds off the lead, so I'd be surprised to see Nathan catch Ben, but probably missing off the cards for now.
Yeah, definitely. We just see Nathan go around Dennis. It's good to see lap traffic is participating quite nicely for the Mustangs at the moment. Not seeing any lap cars being a nuisance yet, which is good.
Yeah, well, the Pontiacs crashing into each other makes life a lot easier for the Mustangs as they just go past Russell Clark on the front straight. So Russell's got a pretty nice gap at the moment for the win. Mark Dial just had to go through at an awkward sort of position, but I don't think it's cost him too much time. John Barry is all over the back of Oliver Searles now. He is seriously close to the back. Just lost a little bit of time through the traffic actually, but he was right up to the bumper.
Oliver's driven a pretty good race so far. He's up 2 positions from his starting position, and he's been on the wheel tonight. He's been doing well.
Yeah, both these Blackadder cars are very quick today actually. They've done a good amount of preparation to get these things quick at this place, and it's looking like it's paying off.
Yeah, I knew Oliver finished his last exam last week, and he said he was going to be giving it a red hot crack coming into the end of the season. A lot more practice, and it's good to see him challenging for that podium spot tonight.
Actually, John Barry's another Blackadder car, so that actually shines a bit more light as to him sticking onto the back of Oliver. So 2, 3 and 4 are Blackadder Motorsport cars, so these cars are working as a team to try and catch Ben Callow and get past. So that could be interesting if they can stay onto him. This is actually quite good to see the speed from those boys. They're really taking it up to Ben today.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of stick with him. I think with only about 15 minutes gone in the race, they're still only separated by a couple of seconds, so it's good to see the battles as we just see John D. Barry pulls into the inside of Oliver Searles. That pulls back in behind him to get some more slipstream. And a bit of internet dropout from there from John D. Barry. It's back on now, it's good to see. Mark Dial still sticking on the back of Ben Callow, applying that pressure, hoping that Ben Callow just makes a small mistake, takes it onto the grass, and hopefully he can get the leader's position. As we just see Oliver Searles, John D. Barry just gets an off track.
It's a little bit wide there for Oliver. We'll see what happens here. I'm surprised if John just stays in behind him, which is what's looking like happening as they go down into turn 1. That's a bit of a peak, but keeps it behind the number 7 car. That's where Barry's quick. He comes out of turn 1 like lightning onto the back of Oliver.
I think he'll be wanting to make a pass on the backstretch here, but he's lost a bit of time through the S's.
Yeah, I just think it looks to me like he's lifting to make sure he doesn't run into the back of Oliver, and that's costing him a bit of time. And these guys are probably in communication because they're teammates, and I would be, if I was the team manager, I would be calling some team orders at the moment, telling John to go in front to pull Oliver along, because I reckon that's the smartest decision to do. But
yeah, I think Oliver's holding up John at the moment a little bit, but there's not too much difference in speed. It's just in that one corner that Oliver slows up a little bit compared to John D. Barry, and Oliver seems to pull a bit of more of a gap as the lap goes on.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much in it. You're certainly right, there's not much in it at all, but if we just have a look now as they come down the front straight. And so John's getting a big turn. Actually, John's having a bit of a look down here into the inside of one, and he sort of looks, but doesn't get the move done, so he probably won't get such a good run out this time. But I mean, even still, he's pretty close.
Yeah, he is. That was a bit of a half-hearted effort. I think he doesn't want to make any contact with his team manager.
Good run out of the S's this time for Barry. It would be smart to make the move now, and he pulls up alongside. So let's see if these two are going to play nice, or if they're going to fight it out.
Wow.
It sits back in behind. I didn't see that one coming.
No, that was a bit of a weird one. I think John D. Barry had a good enough run on Oliver to pull out there. But yeah, that's a bit weird. There comes a time in the race where you just have to run your own race. Forget about any team orders and drive your own race. I think at this stage of the race, I think that might be the right time for John D. Barry to pull out and get past his teammate.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's the last couple minutes, it's not smart to just battle, but to me, John just looks a tiny bit quicker, and it would be smarter to just swap positions, especially when you got to run like that. But anyway, those boys have their plan and they're working to it. They're sticking to it. Monkdale's actually pulling a little bit of gap away from them.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, Mark's definitely pulled the gap.
Ben's just pulling a little bit. Pretty good times on Monkdale, 22.6s in lap 12, which is pretty comparable with Ben Callow's lap time. So if Mark can do that every lap, he'll be very competitive. So that's good to see.
Definitely. We'll head back to the lead for the Pontiacs. Dennis Vanderschultz found himself into second position. Russell Clark's just coming through turn 2. There's a 10-second gap between Russell Clark and Dennis Vanderschultz. So
yeah, similar things happened in the Volkswagens. Brian de Bruin a little way off the back of Mark Gorbati, about 4 seconds. So the race promised to put up some good drafting battles, but the way things have happened, a couple of incidents and such, it's fairly well spread out actually. So, come on John, make a move on Oliver, make it a bit exciting.
You can do it.
Look at that run out at turn 1, that is serious.
Man, he's got turn 1 down packed. And now the boys, due to them holding up John D. Barry, that means that Nathan Naramenko's right on the tail. I reckon he's going to try and go straight past John D. Barry and maybe get a double coming into the bus stop. John D. Barry goes defensive.
3 wide down the back straight.
Oh. No, he's still on the outside. Oh, he slots in behind John D. Barry. He's going to try and hold the inside, but nah, he's not far enough up.
That was so close to ending in tears. It's not funny.
That's given Oliver Searles a bit of a lead over John D. Barry. But I think Oliver holding out John D. Barry has meant that John D. Barry's now coming under major pressure from Nathan Aramenko. And that's not what you want with 4.5 minutes to go in the race.
Yeah, John Barry's going to have a pretty serious flat spot on the front of those tyres after that lock up into the bus stop chicane. So it's just released Oliver Searles for the moment. So Oliver just needs to really get the head down. There's 4 minutes remaining in the motor race. He needs to try and maintain this gap while Aramenko fights John Barry for position 4. Barry's certainly quick out of turn 1, even Aramenko is not gaining anything through there.
Yeah, definitely John D. Barry's always got a very good run through there. He's got to try and get some slipstream from Oliver. He lifted a bit early coming into that section.
Wow, John's caught Oliver, so we're back on here. It's a three-way battle for the final position on the podium.
I think
That's
Oliver
why
had a bit of a slowdown. I think that's the reason why he keeps tapping the brakes in parts where he should be accelerating.
That's costly. We saw it at Laguna Seca, apologies, cost him a second place, I believe. So, 3 minutes on the clock. Team orders have got to go out the window now. These guys are going to go hard. I just hope they don't lose it to Nathan.
Yeah, that's it. I think John D. Barry's going to have to make the move sooner or later here for his own sake and Oliver's sake as well. This is slowing up both Oliver and John D. Barry. The hesitation in whether he should go for the pass or where he shouldn't. But we've got the Pontiac of Brad Fenley on the outside. They just go on the inside. Brad Fenley runs way wide just to let them through.
Yeah, I think that's cost John his exit of turn 1. He didn't get his killer exit that we've been seeing, but he's got a nice toe as they come over the S's. They've dropped Aramenko just a little bit. Will he get the toe and will he get down the inside into the bus stop? He pulls out early, it cost him a little bit of time, but here we go. This is the move on.
He has to go down the inside, come on.
Moves to the right, late under brakes, and pulls back in behind. Oh, that could be a slowdown. That was a lot of grass. And that's put him back into the clutches of Aramenko. That could be a fairly important factor in this race, that move. Aramenko's got to strike while the iron's hot now. He goes to the outside. That's going to be tricky to get it done, but if you can stay on the outside, he'll have the inside one to turn 8.
He's a bit squiggly under the brakes.
Right out onto the curb.
I think John D. Barry's going to have to give him the space on the inside. And he does.
He just crowded him on the apex. And Aramenko was pretty nice about it, just got out of the throttle, but that was good driving from John Barry to hold on to that position. 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock now.
And I think this is the battle to watch. Mustang going at it with only a little bit remaining in the race. Mark Dyer's got a good lead of 4 seconds over Oliver. Brad Callow's got an even bigger gap of 3 seconds further on down the field, with only Genesis separating the two.
So I believe this is the penultimate lap, so there should be one more lap after this one. So these three are going to battle it out, and I'm not sure who to call. Aramenko looks racy. He's going to try and go around the outside through the right-hander. If he can get that done, that's serious.
Oh, too wide through there. Oh, is John D. Barry going to go for a crisscross here? I know I would. I'd be coming, as he comes over the right here, I'd be going back over to the left, getting straight up the inside.
Well, he's got the job done. John Barry didn't fire back down the inside, so Aramenko up to 4th. Barry's trying to use it all the road a little bit more on the grass. Nathan needs to absolutely get the hammer down. It's hammer time. Nathan and Aramenko try and catch back of Oliver Searles. It's the final lap of the motor race, and Oliver's got a bit of lap traffic to deal with. Let's see how they negotiate the 8 car of Dennis van der Schutt.
Oh, very good run from John D. Barry. Bit of compromise from that Pontiac, so that's going to hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, I reckon if Oliver can have a clean run home now, he could be on for 3rd. John needs to try and suck up to the back of Nathan and make a pretty aggressive move, I reckon, if he wants to get 4th here. Down the back straight, then into the bus stop for the final time.
Yeah, he's sucking up on the back of Nathan Aramenko. Aramenko's closed the gap to Oliver, but there's only half a lap remaining.
You're not wrong. Aramenko is pushing.
Oh, could we see a last corner ditch here? Oh, this is going to make for an exciting last few turns here as we head up to 2 90-degree turns. Oliver goes out, back to the outside on the racing line. He's just got to get down on the power on the exit.
Be aggressive to make a move on the right hand side here. He's not going to get it done, so it's all about the corner exit. Meanwhile, Ben Callow takes the victory once again. Mike Dial comes across second, and good battle for third, fourth, and fifth. Oliver Searles, Nathan Eremenko, and John Barry, and 3/10 of a second cover third to fifth. That's what we like to see.
Wow, yeah, we didn't see that action further in the field, but some very good battles. Battles from 6th to 8th. Very nicely done.
We'll run you through the rest of the field then. Gary Fishwick comes home with a 6th, Tony Ludwig 7th, Stephen Patmore 8th. George Johnson ended up a lap down, 9th for the Mustangs. Mark Wabati took the win by 8 seconds over Brian DeBoon in the Volkswagens. And the Pontiac battle turned into a little bit of a non-event after 3 laps of racing. Russell Clark picked up a well-needed victory, actually. Really needed that one in the championship fight against Dennis Vandershield. Third today puts Brad Fenley in a bit of a tricky spot with just 4 rounds remaining after this one. Matt Danson looked promising, but he finishes a lap down in 4th place, and Colin Gorton never took the green flag.
Yeah, brilliant race from Ben Callow. He showed he was all class tonight, led from start to finish, and did a pretty good race. I think he might have gotten 0 incidents. We'll get confirmation on that. But I think he's just got an incident then, I think, coming through turn 1. He's just done a massive drift and he's just lighting the rears up now. That's good stuff from Ben Callow.
I think Ben would have a 4x probably from his contact with Eremenko, although it might have just come up as a 0x actually. Dennis Vandershield not too thrilled with his race, saying it was, quote, the worst race of the season for him. And no contacts for him, but he'd already lost the draft, so that cost him the motor race. He still clawed back a 2nd position though, so all things considered, that's not too bad. We'll head down to the paddock area and try and grab some interviews then.
I think we'll head to Ben first, our Mustang leader.
Sounds good.
Hi Ben Callow, congratulations on a brilliant drive leading from pole to the lead and taking the win after the 25 lap sprint at Watkins Glen. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much. How's it going, guys?
Very well, thanks, mate. A little bit of an incident with Nathan Eremenko there in the early stages of the race. Looked to me like a bit of netcode played a part in that.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. I just went back and watched it now. I had a few issues with braking tonight. I was either understeering everywhere, I was snapping sideways under brakes, so it was a little bit sketchy. And I went a little bit too deep into the inner loop there. And Nathan got up the inside. My car hit the curb. I think the game thought I hit the curb a little bit more than I did because he just snapped sideways next to me and unfortunately hit the fence.
Yeah, definitely. Netcode had a massive part to play in that one. From the angle we saw, I think there was a lot of gap between the 2 cars. So I think it was Netcode that caused that. Unfortunate incident and not what you want coming out of the exit there where it tightens up a lot.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. It was looking like it was going to be a great race between me and Nathan. John was in there too, but he missed a gear on the start. So, it kind of whittled down, and I guess I won by attrition more than anything else.
Yeah, good consistency drive. We did notice about halfway through the race, you had a very good right out sideways moment coming through the inner loop. How was that?
Oh, I'm getting pretty good at that now, I reckon. I think I'll try and do one a race for you at least.
Show us a bit of skill. We know you're very talented behind the wheel. Oliver Sells likes to always making a mention of it whenever we mention you right out sideways or crossed up coming into a braking area. So we've heard lots of rumours of your great driving, and it's always shown through the way you have your car control in the Mustang.
Oh, I don't know if it's great car control. It's more drift experience than anything else.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have a good amount of car control, if you call it that. I mean, you're saying it's drift experience, but it's always good to be able to control the car in a drift, so it always helps. Well, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on your win again, Ben, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for broadcasting, guys.
No worries. We'll jump over to Mark Dial. Got second place finish tonight. Welcome, Mark Dial, to the LitTV commentary booth. Nice to have you with us this evening. How was your race?
Yeah, thanks guys. Good to be here. Yeah, no, it was a good race. It was a couple of close calls there with Ben, but that was quite good.
Yeah, we have to congratulate you on a brilliant second place position. That was a very good drive, nice and consistent, and you put the pressure on Ben Callow for the majority of the race. So well done on that. Yeah, it was got pretty hairy in those inner loops for a number of laps.
Yeah, it did. I seen him going, and I thought, oh, this is not going to end well. And yeah, my car got a little bit sideways as well, so I managed to catch that. And I thought, oh, I'll just stay with Ben. And I know I'm not going to have the speed and just hang in the draft. And I didn't want to get side by side with him again.
Hey, Mark. All three of the Blackout cars seem to be pretty quick this week. Did you put a bit more preparation into today's race, or was it just a track that suited you guys and your driving style?
Yeah, I think it's a track that does suit us. We've had some good sets for this track for quite a while and tweaked them a little bit here and there. Now that for the last 2 seasons, this car's been quite an exceptional car now. They've finally got it to where it's meant to be. The tyres are really good in it. It doesn't slide around as much as it used to.
How was it coming into the inner loop tonight under brakes? Did you find that the car was starting to come out, the rear end come out on you?
No, I think we've solved that issue with that car. It's taken us a while to fix that up, but yeah, we've worked on that for a couple of seasons now, and this new tyre model that they put on a couple of seasons ago has really turned this car into what it should have been in the first place. But
yeah, new tyre model. I found it was very good across most of the vehicles that it was applied on. I think it's a good step towards the good physics engine that iRacing has brilliantly produced over the last few years, and keeps improving. So it's good to see. Now, with dirt racing coming to iRacing very shortly, is it something that you're interested in?
no, I'll stick to the road tracks. I'm not very good when it comes to doing ovals. I do the big ones like Talladega and Daytona, but yeah, as far as that goes, that's it for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not much of an oval person myself either. So you have to be one to like turning left to be an oval racer. And I don't know, I just always seems to struggle as well with the oval stuff. There's something about the driving style that you have to adapt to, or something like that. But it will be interesting to see iRacing have some dirt racing and the changes in road surface, which I guess will have a good influence on the rallycross, as well as developing their road surface road surface graphics engine as well. So that should be good coming into the future. Le Mans next week. Are you looking forward to some good slipstream battles?
Yeah, I think it should be good next week. After doing the 24-hour this last weekend, I've got that track pretty much well and truly in the head now, so it should be quite an interesting exercise.
Yeah, definitely. I think having the 24 hours only a couple of weeks out from this round has definitely been a good refresher and good training for the week race to come next week. It's good to have you catch up with us, Mark Dial. Wish you all the best for next week at Le Mans, and congratulations on your second place finish tonight.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me join on.
Hang on, I'm on now. Yeah.
Hey Oliver, third place, good job. The cars seem to have some pretty genuine pace tonight.
Yeah, I was surprised at how fast I was actually going. I not normally fast at this track, but I did reasonably well. I think I got lucky that Nathan and John sort of messed up the starts, or Nathan had that incident. I think otherwise my genuine pace was probably for fifth. But yeah, definitely happy with third place. We'll take that every day of the week here.
All three of the Blackadder cars seem to be quite quick. You guys put a bit more effort into the preparation, or just a place that suits you guys? I asked the same thing to Mark as well, but.
I mean, to be honest, the setups don't make a big difference in the Mustang. I mean, I'm running one, I think, from a couple of seasons ago. It's a bit like the setups in the Skippy and stuff. I don't think it makes a big difference. I think it's just a track that seems to suit us. We've driven here a lot. It's pretty much on the calendar every season, and a lot of other cars go here. And I think it's just one of those sort of tracks that we seem to be good at, you know?
Yeah, as a driver, you have those favourite tracks that you're good at, so I understand that fully. I found that John D. Barry was catching you very well under brakes and coming through the apex of turn 1. Do you have to look in your mirrors coming out of the apex of turn 1 a couple of times, a few laps?
I was constantly looking at my mirrors. I actually just spoke to him afterwards. He said his connection was bad and he didn't want to go past me. He was worried he'd go past me and walk past me, but he was definitely quicker than me. I think there was one moment when we went into the bus stop where I think him and Nathan were battling, and I think they clipped me, or he said he clipped me. I didn't see anything, but I got a 0x out of it, and they fell back. So I don't know if you guys saw that on the replay. I'd be curious to see what happened.
Yeah, we did see that on the replay. We were showing it live at the. We followed your battle for a long period of the time, coming into the final stages of the race, and that was one of the live action we did catch, and that was an incredible move. 3 wide down the back stretch, and then the way you guys handled that and sorted it out, so it was 1 and 2 wide coming through the second part of the corner was incredible. We were both clenching our muscles here, going, "Oh, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well," and you guys sorted it out very well.
So did they end up touching me or not? I mean, I don't think they did, but did they?
From the angle we saw, there was no touch. Jackson can confirm, I think.
No, from what I saw, John sort of outbroke himself a little bit and ran a bit wide, but I didn't see any contact.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. As I said, I got a 0x, but I didn't see anything, and so I went, well, it was probably very light. I didn't feel anything. And then they just fell further back, and I thought, oh, maybe they touched each other, and I don't know, he neck coated me. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, no, that was some scary moments like that, but that's what happens in this track because the draft's so big. They get a good run out of turn 1, they follow you all the way up through the S's, and then you've got to try to defend going into the bus stop, and it's just one of those draft tracks. So, that's kind of why I like coming here because it's very close.
Were you in contact, voice contact with John Barry throughout the race, or were you guys just doing your own thing?
I wasn't with John, the other guys, or he couldn't get into our TeamSpeak channel, so I didn't have a clue what was going on. But yeah, normally he would be, but he wasn't this time for whatever reason.
Okay, because we were wondering whether there were team orders or something, because I was kind of expecting John to make a move a few times, but what you said about his connection makes sense why he was sitting in behind you. So
yeah, no, there were no team orders. We don't sort of do that. He just told me afterwards. He said, "Look, mate, my connection was bad. I was worried to go through." And at the start, he said he missed a gear, but he told me that obviously afterwards, if he'd been live on the thing, he would have told me that's why he fell back quite quickly on the start. Apparently, he missed a gear. So that was a bit hairy as well, because I was 3 wide down at the start as well, which I didn't necessarily want to do. But it all works out okay.
Yeah, missing a gear in these heavy vehicles is never a good thing when it's especially a rolling start. We saw John D. Barry just absolutely fell through the field, lost 6 positions, and had to battle throughout the race and came up to challenge you and Nathan Eremenko. There was contact between a netcode contact between Nathan Eremenko and Ben Kelly, which sent Nathan Eremenko wide and then spun it. So that was why he fell back through the field. But he did a brilliant job of maintaining his consistent pace throughout the race and managed to salvage a 4th position. So brilliant drive from Nathan.
Yeah, he did really well. I mean, I saw them sort of getting close to each other going through that right-hander, and then I sort of saw him off to the left, and I didn't know if they touched it. It looked kind of close, but obviously I think Ben was saying he thought it was a bit of netcode, and Nathan to get on the radio and yell, so that was probably it. If he'd been taken out, he would have started yelling about it. So and then I thought, oh, that's it, he's probably done. But yeah, when I saw him then back behind me in the last couple of laps, I went, oh no, here we go, I'm going to pull back to 5th. But luckily I managed to keep them behind me, so that was good. A bit scary, but good.
Yeah, we were looking at the battle between you and John D. Barry. We kept saying that John D. Barry, well, he said that he had internet issues, so he didn't want to cause any trouble. But there was a couple of times where we felt John D. Barry was definitely holding back for some reason or another, and so hearing that he was holding back due to some personal internet connection issues explains a lot. But yeah, there was a couple of moments where we thought, oh, he probably should stick it up the inside, because he's costing himself some time with Nathan Eremenko absolutely trying to fang it towards you guys, he tried to salvage as many positions as he can. But you did a good job of defending your line, driving very well, very consistent, and making sure you minimise all your incidents. So that was a good job from your drive tonight.
Appreciate that.
Well, that rounds up this round at Watkins Glen. But next week we go to Le Mans for a very interesting endurance race there, a long track. What are you expecting for Le Mans, Oliver?
I'm expecting a lot of drafting, a lot of drafting. And I'm expecting that if you're in the solstice to bring a book, because the straights are going to be very long.
Well, okay. Well, this is probably a better question for next week. Which book will you be reading on the back stretch? I know you're in Mustang.
Yeah.
But what book would you recommend, which is a good one that goes with the Mustang?
Goes with the Mustang. Actually, we should probably put music on rather than a book. We should probably put it on like Mustang Sally or something like that. Shouldn't we? That's what we should do.
Should we bring John Bow into the commentary booth next week?
Yeah, maybe we should do something like that. But maybe I should just get a tape deck and I should just be as if I'm cruising down the freeway, listening to Mustang Sally or something. But in all seriousness, that straight's actually pretty bumpy, and so you've actually got to concentrate. If you don't concentrate down that straight, you can find that you veer off into the wall, because obviously being a public road, there's a crown in the middle of the road, and if you don't pay attention, you will get flung left or right. I found that when we were practicing for Le Mans, that you got to pay attention over those bumps and everything. So it should be okay. And as I said, there'll be other cars probably drafting past me, so we might actually be weaving up and down the straight, so to speak, trying to get them to not draft past us. So it should be interesting.
I'll be honest. Practicing for the 24-hour, I was texting down the Mulsanne Straight.
Oh, there you go.
So, no, I think if we saw drafting today, next week's going to be that times about 4. So that should be pretty exciting, I reckon. Hopefully.
Yeah, and we should probably get about 10 laps in. I think we do about 4-minute 15 to 4-minute 20 laps off the top of my head when I was practicing that. It might be quicker than that, but so we'll probably get 10 laps in. I don't think we'll end up getting into the lap traffic, even though we're going to be quite a bit quicker than them, but it might happen, especially if they have incidents and stuff. But hopefully we get a decent field and we get some good drafting battles going like we got today.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very exciting race as far as slipstream battles. But it's always going to be with the longer tracks. It throws up a endurance sort of format. The drivers are having to keep their concentration levels up, so that's going to be interesting to see next week. Well, thanks for joining us in the commentary booth, Oliver. Well done on your podium spot tonight. Great drive, and we wish you all the best next week at Le Mans.
Appreciate that. Hopefully I'll go 1 or 2 better next week.
Let's hope so. Well, thanks for joining us here with coverage on LitTV of Round 8 of the Australian Pacific Asia Championship Grand Touring Cup. This has been a production by LitTV in conjunction with Lit Motorsports, Blackadder Motorsport, GP Racing Karts and iRacing. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week at Le Mans.
Catch you later, guys.